Thank you, Sarah. Hi, everyone. My name is Tobias Knoke, and I'm a BD manager for Google Play, working with our key partners in Western Europe. It's great to be here with you at Playtime and to see so many new and familiar faces. After we have been discussing how to de-risk your game launch, let's take the next step. Let's think about you want to take your game out there to the crowds, and for doing so, you want to build a strong and engaged community, because only with a community, your game can last for years. And when it comes about communities, YouTube is the place to be, because YouTube, well, that's the biggest video platform for games out there. Today, we will hear two impressive strategies from Gouge, the CEO of Playdemic, who will tell us how we can get our users to keep and share their favorite moments on YouTube, and from Elimelech, the CMO of Space Ape Games, who knows everything about working with influencers. But before letting them on stage, let me give you some more background on why YouTube matters for your game. YouTube is essentially where your users are. Whether you do a core game, a casual game, a game with AR, a game with VR, you will find the users on YouTube. You can acquire users on YouTube, and you can speak to them again and again to ensure that they're engaged. And to put this into perspective, last year we had 507 billion views of gaming content on YouTube alone. And the good news here for everyone in this room is this growth is driven by mobile games. In the last 2 years, we have been seeing an increase of 342% when it comes to the hours watched of mobile gaming content. So this will become more and more relevant in future. And last but not least, everything moves towards live gaming and live streaming. We also see an increase of 512% year over year when it comes to live gaming on YouTube. So YouTube is big, YouTube is relevant, and it's growing, but all of these numbers do not really help if we do not know who is actually on the platform. We have done some research and identified 3 key audiences. One are the trendsetters. Those guys are basically on YouTube to just find out whether they should download or pay for a game. Half of them are actually waiting for new game videos to be released. So to get these trendsetters on board, you need to have a compelling video strategy and release videos again, again, and again. Second, we have identified the people who love game and video culture. Those users are mainly in for great videos. 80% of them just love videos because of great soundtrack, great visuals, and great story. So ensure your videos are good, have a high production quality, or at least a very good story, because this way you get the game culture lovers on board. And last but not least, we identified the people who love to reconnect and who love to share. Those users basically just videos because somebody else shared it with them. And if they're in the pub and hear about a game, 62% of them will directly go to YouTube to research what this game is all about. So much for the growth of YouTube and the size of YouTube, and also the key audiences on YouTube, and you want to get all of them. But before doing so, you need to set up your game properly for YouTube. You need to integrate mechanics which enable the users to share their favorite moments. So let me get someone on stage who can explain this much better than I do, the CEO of Playdemic, my friend Gouge.
Apparently, I can explain it better than Toby. That's quite a lofty goal there, but I'm going to try. I'm going to talk about a game called Golf Clash today. Hands up here if you played Golf Clash. Good. Quite a few of you. That's good to hear. And hands up if you shared a video in Golf Clash. Oh, some polite people saying they have. Well, people do. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So one of the things we've just heard there about YouTube as a platform and about videos generally is obviously we now know we exist in a world where people want to share their moments, where people want to reach out into that community and express how they feel about a product and those great periods of excitement they've experienced within that product. So when it came to building Golf Clash, we really wanted, for the first time really in Playdemic, to embrace that and to give players an opportunity to make this really super easy for them. We know, the advocates, the highly engaged players, will go out of their way to share video, and they'll go out of their way to store and share and actually overcome some quite difficult technical challenges. But what we wanted to do was create something that really would appeal to the mass market in that sense. So in terms of the whys, this was very much a business goal. We've just been talking about de-risking our businesses. A lot of that is focused around those core metrics of commercialization, of engagement and monetization of retention. What we wanted to do is also build in there another crucial metric, which we didn't really talk about this morning, is really driving the organic reach, getting your users to really empower the community by reaching out and telling them about the product. So very much this was about stimulating installs, stimulating the retentive and engaging quality of sharing those moments, to think about how we can harness those platforms. We just heard very much about the scale of YouTube. We all know that. It's a significant scale platform. And when you think about what we're doing when we're spending money on UA, we're essentially creating those moments. We're creating moments on platforms like YouTube that really sell our game quality and sell those key moments. What better way to do that than to have a player do that for you? We all know the most powerful form of recommendation comes from an individual that you are interested in or care about or have some relationship with, rather than necessarily just thinking about UA. Also, we wanted to make sure that those moments in the game were the key emotional moments. So we wanted to make sure that we made that piece easy as well for the player. So those real flag-bearing moments of that product, the bits that I think Jens referred to this morning about, those bits that make the players excited. We want to make sure that the players could share those moments as well. And also, and this is very much sort of an ancillary benefit, but also customer support and caring for our users long-term is a crucial element. And one of the great side effects we found from our integration is it actually gave us an opportunity for customer support to be able to look easily at the experiences that players were having in that moment. So thinking about the player goals, for us, we know as players, everyone in this room is a player of video games, I'm sure, and we all love the industry that we're in, and we also love the product. And we want to share those moments, particularly in skill games like Golf Clash is. We want to share how good we are. We want to share with the community that we've done something special, or something funny, or something different, or something new. And we want to reach out to the community and share that. We also want to make sure that we can store those moments as well, and that we can favorite them. We have a language now of sharing in our global digital economy. We wanted to make sure that was in this product. So what does that look like? I mean, hopefully those of you who played it will recognize the UI of Golf Clash. So what we did is we created a system where every single shot you ever take in Golf Clash is stored for you. So there was no need for you to anticipate. And if you think about the illogical nature of this, you can never anticipate that this great moment is coming. So you can't sort of get to a place thinking, I'm going to have an awesome game today. I'm going to make sure I'm videoing it. That can't happen. Even in the live environment where you're live streaming, you can't guarantee that those moments are going to happen. So what we wanted to do is to make it foolproof. We wanted to make sure that we were going to store every single shot you ever took in the game. So we created, and to give it some importance, we stuck this right on the main HUD of the game. The replay sat there alongside all the other key functions of the game to say this is something that's always going to be tracking your movements, always going to be tracking your key shots. We also then gave you the opportunity to automatically store things that we thought were interesting and automatically favorite them. So we have some logic in the game that when you do something that we genuinely think is interesting from a skill perspective, we'll automatically share the piece of UI you're seeing here that says, look, you just did something that was pretty cool. We know from the way the game is played and from our data that the thing you just did required quite a lot of skill. So we're going to pop this up straight away and say, here's something that you might be interested in sharing. You might certainly be interested in watching it back initially, and then you may go on to want to share that. So we have a UI here that's, again, as I say, accessible from the HUD. It allows you to go through all the shots you've taken, allows you to replay them to yourself, allows you to rename them, to give them a cool name that might be interested as a hook when you share that out onto YouTube, and to watch them back and share them at any point in the journey. So we allow a lot of storage in the app for players to do this. So at any point in time, in a future date, or if you're having a sort of a trade-off with a buddy who's shared something interesting, you think you've got one better, you can go back into your library, you can name that, you can share that out again. So really low friction on the part of the player. You'll all be familiar with what the Google interface looks like for sharing, but it is, it's a very simple mechanic. It's built into the product. If you're not using it, please do so. We've certainly seen it's something that's been very easy for us to integrate with. Obviously, it's both live and historic. So in terms of other considerations, this is just a bit of detail. I'm conscious I've got 8 minutes. I think my wife said to me this morning, you've never spoke 8 minutes about anything. So I'm going to kind of to keep it pretty punchy. But one of the things we wanted to do is in recording that video, we didn't really feel that we could just share the raw data. So when we started to do this, we looked back at some of the feeds we were creating, and they were quite dull. There's quite a lot of moments in the game, and those of you who've played it will recognize this, where you're kind of setting up a shot, you're aiming, and then in replay, that really didn't look good. So we wanted to bring sort of an element of pre-edit to the experience. So we cut out quite a lot of dead space. And we said, this isn't interesting. This isn't something that people are going to want to relate to when it gets out onto YouTube. What we also did is, and this goes back to the point I was making about UA, is we also integrated an intro and an end card. So, from the perspective, this is also a piece of real estate for us, reaching out into that huge community that Toby talked about to drive installs and engagement. We wanted to make sure the brand was there, and there was a key call to action. So everything we stored for you also has the intro and end card on it. We also, as I mentioned already, allowed favoriting of shots yourself. So in that little library I showed you in the UI, you can favorite a shot at any point, which puts it in a separate part of that storage system. So you can go back and look at your favorite shots and edit that and curate that yourself. And also, as I mentioned, that automatic favoriting of shots as well to ensure that the game is telling you that this is something interesting. This is something you should think about sharing because you did something special here. And finally, that ability to store replays. So I think when I created this, we said we were storing 100 shots. We're actually allowed to store a bit more than that now. So what does this mean in terms of data? Some boring graphs for you, but quite interesting, I think. I think what you're seeing here is that these are the share opportunities per DAU. So you can see that, roughly speaking, we're around about 1 share opportunity for every single DAU in the game. Now, clearly, that's, in some respects, a meaningless mean. So some players are getting lots of share opportunities, some are getting none. But ultimately, overall, we're creating many, many opportunities to share that are automated, that are using the system. This is not somebody, and again, I stress this, having to go away, think about how they're going to record their video, think about how they're going to share it. This is the game saying to them, to one person effectively every day, here's a way you can share a video. Here's something interesting you can put out into the community. And what we see is that around 15% of those people who have a share opportunity go on and share it. Now, which is a pretty impressive conversion rate. Now, we all think about conversion rates on lots of our metrics in this world, and to get 15% from something that isn't initiated by you, that's initiated by the game, is a pretty powerful level of conversion. And what's interesting to us is that stayed very consistent. So you can see, obviously, the launch spike at the beginning, but this is a game now with many millions of DAU that's keeping a very stable ability to keep converting those videos to shares. And you can see what we've also done as well is that's grown consistently as the game's grown. So many, many numbers of shares going out and keeping that consistent conversion rate, which is, of course, driving engagement amongst our existing user base, but as importantly, continuing to drive the organic installs of people seeing this for the first time with an end card, in a curated manner, shared by somebody that they're interested in a community they're interested in. So overall, what we've seen so far, these are sort of the very, very headline metrics, is we've seen a significant conversion of those opportunities en masse. And as I mentioned before, that 15% is increasing overall. So you're seeing a start point there and an improving outcome. And I think I'm doing OK for time. So, and the result, obviously, here is these are just replays. So close to 100,000 replays when I did the screenshot on YouTube of people that have shared that out into the community. So that's it from me. I think I just about did it in 8 minutes.
Thanks, Toby. I don't know about masters, but we'll try. So hi, everyone. I'm Mickey. I head up the marketing team at Space Ape Games. For those of you who don't know us, we're a London-based mobile gaming studio. We have 4 live games: Samurai Siege, Rival Kingdoms, Transformers, Earth Wars, and Fastlane Road to Revenge. We are, as a company, our mission is to create a genre-defining top game. So we actually have additional 5 teams working on new titles at the moment. Today, I'm here to talk to you about a really great campaign that we did for the launch of Fastlane Road to Revenge. And through that, hopefully, show you how we think about influencers and why we do what we do. So we think of ourselves as a community-first developer. We think that a lot of our big breaks came from genuinely listening to our players and allowing them to inform how we make our games and how we develop our games. We found that by involving top players and influencers from the very, very, very early stage of the development, when I mean early stage, I mean very early in the development. The game is not nearly as polished or anything like that. But we found that by doing that, they helped us understand what would make the game interesting for their communities, and then they became our ambassadors. So we really kind of realized that we're onto some really strong marketing tool here. So we ended up going and using this in every single game launch that we've had since. To give you some example, For Rival Kingdoms, we were working on some big innovations in build and battle genre. So we needed a live community to feedback on everything that we were doing. We recruited about 100 top players and gaming influencers to do that for us, and they helped us really shape the game. For Transformers Earth Wars, for instance, we involved some big fan sites and some gaming influencers, and they helped us do all of the onboarding process into the game and really bridge between those fans of the IP and the build and battle play genre. But it became harder and harder to reach those big influencers, and all the interactions were becoming very much transactional based. We did a few of these for the launch of Transformers Earth Wars, and actually did kind of paid content for that. But what we found is when someone was making videos that they weren't really passionate about the game that they were promoting, it had two main problems. One, it didn't drive any results, so it didn't really justify us doing it again. And two, the community picked up on the fact that they're not being genuine, and so they were losing credibility. So in our opinion, this isn't a sustainable way of doing things. Rather, we think that a content creation should be a product of a meaningful relationship that really offers something genuinely interesting for the influencer without asking for anything in return. They have to work really hard these days to keep their channels engaged, to keep their channels growing, to provide their fans reasons to come back again and again and again. And we have to be a lot more creative these days and think right from the start of things that would create that inherent interest for them. Paul was talking about watchability, but also things like integrating them into the game, offering them exclusive and unique content, and things like that. That will actually make them create content for you, but not because you gave them a brief and you paid them some cash, but because they're genuinely interested and they genuinely are excited about their involvement in your game. So how does this all come together for the launch of Fastlane? We created a unique opportunity to be integrated into the game as a quest giver and give out jobs that were based on real-life interactions and their YouTube personalities. By doing that, we ended up having 21 big YouTubers integrated into the game with over 50 million subscribers in total. What we did at launch was a week-long event that had all of them featured. They all kind of participated in that event. And then after that, we had every single weekend an event that was either an individual event or a collaboration between some YouTubers. And what that resulted in is tens and tens of videos and social posts, all really promoting passionately their involvement in the game. I've got some examples of the best executions for you guys here.
What's up everybody, Bootramp here and welcome back to another video on my channel. So today we're playing more Fastlane.
It's an absolutely insane game that's just come out from the amazing guys over at Space 8 Games.
All you do is put your finger, your thumb, your toes, your nose, anything on the screen.
The game creators of Fastlane put me in the game, and it was a good time.
And today we're doing something really special. We're gonna be doing some of my event.
Now, every week there's going to be a new job, and it's YouTuber related. So your favorite YouTuber is pretty much in this game.
It's a voodoo doll, and I will use it to control you.
I'm evil now, Jordy. You've taken my soul.
She's evil now. We need to collect all the voodoo dolls.
And I'll say the magic words to undo the voodoo. Last one, yes! Okay, we've completed the next mission.
The thing you gotta do here is collecting 200 chests. Yes, we are, and there's the Chicky Monkey. We're collecting some chests. Oh yeah, look at that, guys. I'm collecting all of that good stuff.
Or if I go for something else, oh, that rocket came out of nowhere, son.
Oh, yes. Level 37. I'm almost level 40, and then I can get a new car, which is called the Chariot.
Whoa. Oh, did you guys see that?
Cool. Thanks. So really, in terms of results, I think the most impressive fact is that at launch week, this was our second biggest marketing channel. It yielded hundreds of thousands of installs. And more than that, it created 6 months worth of content for us for events in the game. It drove the most engaged players, as you can see from the D1 retention numbers. This is a direct product of that passion that came across from the YouTuber to the community, really engaging them, getting them to go in the game, check them out as quest givers, and engage and experience the game for themselves. They weren't the biggest of spenders, but that's probably because of the age skew. I think if I summarize it all, was it worth it? Absolutely. Definitely if you've got volumes in mind for launch. But if I can leave you with one thing, it's this. Please don't take this specific example as a template. It's not a template. It's all about creating those relationships. It's all about thinking about unique and genuine interactions with them. And we believe that we need to rethink this and reinvent this for every single game. That's it. Thank you.